Sir Watson, your visit to Greece coincides with the outcome of the Greek elections. You're here only a few days after. What is your opinion on the new Greek government and the policies it's trying to implement?
Well, I think Mr. Tsipras is an extremely fortunate man because he takes over a country whose economy is growing again thanks to the work of Mr. Samaras and Mr. Papademos, and therefore he has the opportunity to do things. But I think he's also a rather rash man because by threatening immediately to reverse some of the reforms that have led to this economic growth, he will frighten off the international investors who Greece needs in order to continue its path out of recession.
So this fear will bring back the possibility of a Brexit into the forefront. And if that still is a possibility, how would such an outcome influence the rest of the European Union?
I think the rest of the European Union recognises that Greece has had a democratic election, fairly conducted, that people have voted against parties which they see as not the right parties to be governing the country. I think the European Union will give Mr. Tsipras the opportunity to do what he thinks is right. But of course it has to be done within the context of European solidarity and within the context of recognising that we are all in the euro together. Greece is a country which had debts of 107% of its GDP in 2007. They had gone up to 167% of GDP in 2011. Big efforts have been made to try to control that debt, and Mr. Tsipras will have to continue those.
But still, the rise of Syriza in power has caused a new wave of Euroscepticism. Both in France, in Italy, even in the UK, we heard voices congratulating Syriza, and these voices come from Euroscepticists. How does ALDE respond to this phenomenon?
Well, you can say these people are opponents of the European Union. They certainly are. But they're also the people of the past. I find it amazing, for example, that of the 10 senior ministers that Mr. Tsipras has appointed, not a single one of them is a woman. We are building a Europe of the future, not a Europe of the past in this way. He seems strangely old-fashioned in his approach. And if that continues, then European liberals will not hesitate to be critical of what he's doing.
Since you mentioned liberals, in Greece, liberals in general were underrepresented in the current elections. What do you think was the reason for that, and what do you look up to in the future regarding liberalism in Greece, both in terms of parties but also as an idea?
Greece has for many years been polarized between two major camps of left and right, with PASOK and Nea Demokratia. That consensus, if you like, is obviously breaking down. When that happens, there are opportunities for liberals. That's why we are investing a lot in bringing together individuals of liberal persuasion who want to work together to try to propose liberal solutions for the future of Greece. I think we have every opportunity of being successful in that.
And from what I understand, this is the main reason of your visit in Greece right now, the ALDE individual members and the opportunity to address them. That's a unique idea in European politics. How did that came to be, and what are your hopes regarding Greece and its individual members?
I think what we're beginning to see in the European Union is a recognition among many of our citizens that intergovernmental cooperation is not working. We need to create a more genuine European spirit if we are going to not just survive, but to prosper and to contribute to the development of humankind. And that's why we are trying, after this process of so-called Spitzenkandidaten, after a European election in which every party chose its leading candidate, to build towards the next European elections when people will be thinking in European terms when they cast their vote, not thinking simply in national terms.
And coming back to the Greek politics and its parties, how does ALDE relate to Potami, regarding its liberal agenda. Do you consider the Potami a liberal party, despite the fact that it does not align itself with ALDE in the Euro Parliament?
Well, there are undoubtedly some people of liberal persuasion within Potami, but I think that that party's decision to sit with the socialists in the European Parliament gives a very clear indication of where the majority lies. We remain open to work with people from Potami, as we do with people from other parties, if they want to join us in putting forward liberal solutions for a more secure and stable European future.
You mentioned European solidarity, and in this frame, last week Mario Draghi announced a 1.1 trillion euro quantitative easing program. Is that a remedy for the Eurozone, or just another half-hearted measure that will not help the economy at all?
I think it's something we should have done much earlier. The Americans went through a process of quantitative easing immediately after the 2008 crash. We've left it rather longer, and as a result our economy has not recovered as quickly. I wish Mr. Draghi every success in what he's doing. You could say it's good old-fashioned Keynesian economics, but Keynes was a liberal, and I'll go for that any day.
And a final question regarding austerity measures. Greece has, one will say suffer, other will say advance through austerity the last 5 years. Still there's a huge debate on whether these austerity measures should continue not only in Greece but also in the rest of the European South. What's your opinion on austerity as a means towards the remedy of the financial problems that Europe has?
Well, nobody likes austerity because people suffer. But clearly there are times when austerity is needed in order to get a country back onto its feet quickly. It happened in Latvia, it happened in Germany at one point, and in the United Kingdom. I think it will be necessary still in Greece, but more necessary than austerity are the economic reforms which will build long-term economic success.
And do you think that the current government is willing to push the reforms into the agenda, or just follow its own route?
The early signs are not encouraging. But if you look at Mr. Hollande's government in France, they came to power with a very socialist agenda. They very soon changed their tune, and they are now doing the necessary things in the French economy.
Okay, thank you very much, and wish you a great stay in Greece and fruitful discussions with the individual members.
Thank you.
Thank you.